What is up? Let me see here. Can you share your screen? Hello. What is up, guys? Welcome to the new year, 2026. Ready to get a head start and lock in. Thank you to the one person that's on the stream with me. Let's go. Let's go. Um, I've actually never live streamed before. And so this is a very new thing for me. And the main reason I actually kind of want to live stream is because I feel like lately it's been really difficult for me to try and um, get some working when it comes to like filming content and whatnot. And I want to just be able to like very spontaneously create content for you guys. And I feel like live streaming might not be a bad idea, bad way to do it. So I'm just gonna stay on this live stream for a bit and just hang out. Um, might be writing scripts at some point, but we have to start. We have to start somewhere. And for me, this like I think live stream would be kind of fun, especially in a photography sense. For me, I really want to live stream like when I edit, when I not really when I go out to shoot. That would be very chaotic. I don't know how you would live stream that, um, but just stuff like that I think would be super fun. And for me, I really like making content. I feel like this is kind of like a logical next progression to that. But yeah, what's up? Hello, welcome to the live stream, guys. If you guys have any questions or comments or just want to hang out, feel free to throw it in the chat, and I would love to respond to you guys' questions. Let me see here. Get this going. Sorry, guys, I'm just setting up my computer and whatnot. At some point, I do want to live stream like me editing and stuff. I think that would be a really good one. So you guys can like see very live like what my process is like and how I actually go about editing. Because for me, I think editing is super very specialized, like per person. Um, but yeah. And I do like and what's funny is that when I edit like what's it called? When I edit my construction photography, it's something that takes a while. So those editing live streams might actually be pretty long, which is kind of cool. But we got two people in the chat. Let's go. If you guys have any questions you guys want to ask, or just yap about how you guys New Year's what you guys New Year's resolutions are. For me, I really want to be consistent when it comes to creating content in particular. Um, I find that like this past year of 2025 has been kind of tough for me, like in terms of just creating content. So I really want to make sure that I like get on that a little bit more in the New Year's. It's gotten kind of tough because I feel like my process has gotten so much more complicated. And with a more complicated process comes obviously like more time spent creating the videos. Like I think I was calculating the hours the other day. It takes roughly like 25 hours or so to actually make one of those long form videos for you guys. And so, yes, it does take a lot of time, but I do think it's pretty worth it because I think when I compare at least my videos now to back then, like it really has gotten a lot better in particular. Should we try to delete this? But I do want to try live streaming more often for you guys. Let's see here. Welcome. Oh, welcome everybody. Oh, happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to everybody. Um, I'm in California, so our New Year's happened obviously like 12-ish hours ago. Me and my family just stayed up, hung out um, for the New Year's. It wasn't anything too crazy, but I am gonna put in my Instagram that I am live streaming right now. Let's see. Is there can you send like a link? Oh, you can. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. But I see we have two people in the chat or two people in our live stream. How was your guys' New Year's been? Do you guys have any New Year's resolutions? Any camera gear that you're looking at picking up for the New Year's? Like, what does that look like? For me, so there's a couple cameras that I really like. First of all, the ZR looks insane. 100% would grab that. To me, that's like a camera that I've always really wanted a like straight up video camera. And like I've looked at Panasonic G9 II with the 10 to 25 f1.7. That combination like looked really good to me when I was first thinking about getting like a dedicated video camera. But I actually decided to kind of lean off of it because I was like, it doesn't make any sense to actually like invest into a new system. So I'm like, okay, probably scrap that. Let me see here. Oh wow. So I like, but when the ZR came out, I was like, oh, this is like absolutely perfect for what I need. Okay, what did I choose? Let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm just posting them live streaming on my Instagram. Let's put a link in here. But yeah, the ZR looks really good. I actually need to, let me look up some specs on this thing really quick because I'm actually kind of curious. Let's see. Can I mirror or extend? Bang, let's go. Let's go. Okay, cool. I wonder if I can share. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, I guess not. But let me see. The ZR looks really cool. So if I can pick up. Nikon ZR. Also, because I am like very new to this, I'm not like 100% sure how to share my screen very consistently. So I'm gonna try my best on all those fronts. But let's look at some ZR specs, shall we? And the main selling point for me, like getting the ZR, is the fact that the ZR is obviously a Z mount, but I believe it can shoot red raw if I'm not mistaken. Like it's so funny because I think the ZR is not like I don't think I would ever need 6K. Like I think 4K is probably the most I'll ever need. And majority of the times I'm not even shooting 4K at 120. Like that's just insane to me. And like I think it's just so interesting. But I think for me, like the raw recording is definitely really nice. Oh my god, that screen is huge. If you've seen like the ZR screen, that thing is massive. Wow. And I like this would definitely be the camera that I would use when I'm just kind of like recording myself. And I really like the idea of having just like a dedicated video camera because there's a lot of times where I'm shooting a lot of video and like there's times where I like need to shoot the camera that I'm using to shoot my video, and a lot of times it's super um it's really inconvenient, because it's just like, okay, like I now need another camera to film the camera that I'm shooting my video on, and that's really awkward. But like for the most part, like having having a dedicated video camera would kind of solve a lot of it. I just realized that the button layout for the ZR is extremely minimal. It's literally just they have just a joystick, the what is it called? The dial here, and like that's literally it, which is like so interesting to me. Let me see. Yeah, this thing can shoot. Damn, it can shoot internal RAW. Internal red raw too, which is insane. Red raw is peak, absolute peak. I remember talking to my friend about like, oh, like having a red camera would be insane because being able to shoot raw, like being able to just literally change the ISO, change whatever. And I'm pretty sure you guys can check me on this, but I am pretty sure that Red RAW is superior to the Nikon RAW format, and especially the convenience part of it, right? Like being able to shoot internal RAW is so nice. It's so nice. Um, let's see, 15 stops of dynamic range. That's crazy. Oh, you can choose between Red RAW and Nikon RAW, and Apple ProRes RAW. Huh, that's crazy. That's a lot of RAW, respectfully. How big is this camera though? Oh, no fan. Wow. I'm always the most concerned when it comes to weight and size. For me, those are like the most important parts of a camera because especially if I'm gonna be like hiking and whatnot, I don't really want to bring like this big camera setup. I know some people are like really into that, but I definitely am not. I am always like we gotta have the smallest camera possible to make it easy on ourselves. Um, what's up? What's up? Welcome to the chat. If you guys, I'm actually just gonna drop this in here. Questions in the chat. Photography, live cameras. Let's see if that works. But yeah, drop your questions in the chat. I want to see what you guys have to say, respectfully. But yeah, I do want to live stream more. Um, let me see if I even have any like photos I need to edit. Okay, I guess some of these things I'll have to like sharing my screen is probably gonna be one of them that I will have to like figure out at some point. But for now, we can just hang out. I didn't wow, the ZR takes micro SD. Why couldn't wait, I'm so confused. Why couldn't they just put like a full-on SD card into here? I would have loved a full SD card inside of the ZR because I see you can shoot CF Express obviously, and most of the time that's probably what you're gonna be shooting, but like micro SD seems kind of slow. I don't even know if they have UHS-2 micro SD cards. See, and okay, I think this to me is like the biggest selling point for like the ZR over, let's just say, like an actual red cinema camera. Because having like hybrid phased autofocus is so good. Like especially for someone that like pretty much like only films myself. Like I don't really film anything else. Like if I'm only filming myself, like being able to have that hybrid phase detect autofocus is so good. It's so good. Um And I kind of like that it gives me a similar look to, like, let's just say something like the Z30. I think that's really good. Because I really do like, and I'm actually my next video is kind of about this kind of sneak preview for all of you guys that are watching. I'm actually gonna make my next video on like my camera kit for 2026, and I do mention that the Z30 is a camera that might get cut for the ZR. Like at the end of the day, okay, so my logic with that is that I ended up picking up the Z30 because I wanted something that was more, but definitely smaller, more compact when it comes to shooting. However, the issue with that is that the Z6 literally does the same thing in terms of compact and size. Yes, I know the Z6 and the Z30 are not the same size. Actually, do I have my camera? Let me just show you. Let me just show you. I do have all my camera gear here with me. I have my camera gear. Um, this is the camera bag that you guys normally see. This thing is cooked. This thing is hella cooked. And one thing I did not ever mention in a video is that actually, if you take a look here, right? So you have this. This is a low lifter. So this is called a low lifter, and the other side of it, I remember I was in the airport and I like swung my bag over my shoulder. And as you can see, like this part kind of ripped and there's no connection to this anymore, which absolutely sucks. I don't even know how would you even fix that? I don't even know if Shimoda has some sort of like repair component, like they can repair that. I have no idea. Seems like a stitching issue because I mean load lifters, like quite literally, given the name, are meant to take the load off of you. So like this is like really tough to work through, in my opinion. Like being able to have the low lifter when you're out shooting landscapes and like hiking is purely like a comfort issue. And if this is like off and like broken, it makes hiking a little bit more uncomfortable because I noticed that like if I'm carrying this, right, I have the low lifters, I have the hip belt, have everything on, like this side tends to like drop a little bit, if that makes sense. So if like my back is here, it'll kind of drop like this way, which is like really annoying, but whatever. I would consider getting the Peak Design bag. The Peak Design 45 liter is really good. I know my friend Drake has one, but okay. So here is the Z6, has an L bracket on it. But I just want to kind of show you guys some of the size difference between like the Z6 and the Z30 and why in my head it's a kind of okay to get rid of the Z30. Like in the sense of like get rid of the Z30, get a ZR, and then keep the Z6, the original Z6, as more of my like telephoto compact camera. Because I think I realized too is that yeah, I like APS-C. APS-C is cool, but it's not nearly as good as full frame. Like it really isn't. And for someone that has pretty much shot full frame their entire lives, literally except for my first camera that I got, like I can't go back to like having a full APS-C system. And to be quite fair, Nikon doesn't really do a good job when it comes to like their APS-C line. Like like realistically, I would like to see a pro APS-C camera from Nikon. But they just haven't done it and I'm not sure why they haven't. Like in my opinion, like a pro APS-C camera from Nikon would do so well. Like would do so insanely well. It kind of reminds me of like the Nikon D500 when that camera first came out. Like that camera was peak. Like when that camera came out, and then when the D850 came out, like those were like peak Nikon in my opinion. Like the D850 was like quite like literally the best DSLR that Nikon ever came out with. Like arguably the best camera that Nikon ever came out with. So I would love to see them like run it back with the full frame cameras. Like I think that shit would be sick. But you know, it is what it is. Let me find some caps real quick. Okay. And yeah, I do have L brackets on pretty much everything because as a landscape photographer, you know, you L brackets are like an absolute must. Let me see here. So this is the Z6. I'm going to take off the L bracket on this really quickly. Let's see here. I should have an Allen wrench somewhere. You know what? We're just going to use this one actually. Hello, welcome to the chat. This is just a quick Q&A live stream, just hanging out. I can't open this thing. I never have Allen wrenches on me. I probably should get some and just like leave them somewhere, because I realistically have zero clue where this thing is. Let me see. Oh, it's right here. Skill issue. So Allen wrench. P Design Allen wrench, by the way. Like this is such a good Allen wrench. I end up leaving it on my keys, and you just like always have it. So these are my keys. You always have an Allen wrench on you. This Allen wrench is actually from the P Design travel tripod, W tripod, but my tripod is cooked, man. That thing is so old at this point. And I actually had to get a replacement from Peak Design, which is cool because they have lifetime warranty, so it's super easy to just change it out. Let's see there. Yeah, if you have any questions, just want to hang out, feel free to drop them in the chat. Love to hear what you guys think. Okay, so this is the size comparison between the Z30 and the Z6. They're actually both quite similar in size, relatively similar, and they're both kind of at the same distance. So the only thing is that obviously the Z6 is slightly bulkier, and that's fine for the most part. Or if you go here, like they're both, I mean, obviously with the Z30, you don't have the viewfinder. I believe the Z30, actually, I can get some weights for you guys. I know for a fact the Z6 is 667 grams, and I'm pretty sure the Z30 is Nikon Z30 weight. I'm gonna put a guess. I think it's 450 grams. Oh, JK, it's 350 grams. But with the battery, it's 405. Actually, that wasn't even close either way. But technically, the Z6 is actually 50% heavier than the Z30. But the reason why you pick the Z6 for more of like your lightweight travel, like kind of replacing what the Z30 would do, is because the Z30 not having IBIS is kind of in 2020. What are we in? Oh, now we're in 2026. In 2026, how are you gonna have a camera that does not have IBIS? What are we doing? Granted, this camera came out in what, like 2022, 2023? I actually don't know when this camera came out. I'm pretty sure it was like 2022. This camera feels a little outdated at this point, to be so honest with you. Actually, let me see. So Nikon Z30 release date. Damn, 2022? That's crazy. Yeah, 2022, I guess. That's so late. That feels so long ago. Well, technically, that's like 4 years ago at this point. Damn, this camera's old. Yeah, they really should come out with a version 2 of this, because I would love to see like IBIS, better low light for sure. If they could dude, just give us an APS-C camera with like the improved autofocus, stack sensor, throw in like dual SD or dual. Actually, you could even just do dual SD cards and that'd be fine. I find UHS-2 like 300 megabytes read write to be more than enough. So if they just gave us an APS-C like pro camera, that would be peak. Give us the D500 replacement, because quite frankly, I've been waiting on that for a while. That's a camera that I would definitely consider. But I think right now my kit right now is obviously the Z6 III, Z6, and Z30. But I would love to kind of replace the Z30 with the ZR, and then potentially also get the Z8. I don't know if I need 4 cameras, but I also just can't see myself getting rid of the Z6 anytime soon. Like, this camera is way too good. I think the cinema camera will definitely be first on my priority list over like the what's it called? Yeah, the ZR will be first on my priority list over getting something like the Z8. But the Z8 actually dropped in price pretty hard. Let me see. Let me see if I can get a price on the Z8. So the Nikon Z8. So when the Z8 came out, what was it at? It was what, like pretty much like 4K? It was like 4,000. Let's see what the Z8 is at right now. The Z8 right now, damn, it's close to like 2K. There's a couple here that are 2K. One of them is $1,859 on eBay, but they literally just show the box and they don't show anything else. So that's a little sketch. A little sketch. Yeah, this dude is cap. This dude is trolling. Hella trolling. Yeah, I actually, damn, it probably is closer to like 2,700, which isn't bad for practically Nikon's best like high resolution camera. Excuse me. So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, until they come out with like a version 2, like I can't see this camera dropping like that much. But I don't even know when a version 2 would come out. Actually, when did the Z8 come out? Nikon Z8 release date. I'm always so curious, like what the release dates are. I think it's 2020. Oh, 2023. They're probably not going to come out with a new one for a while. Probably give it another. Because what's their like release cycle? When did the D810 camera come out? Nikon D, no, not Z810. That's crazy. D810. So the D810 release date was 2014, and then the D850 came out in 2017. 3 years. That's actually, I guess you could upgrade the Z8 at this point. I just don't know what that would look like. Like what more would you need? Like would putting a global shutter make sense? Like I don't think so. Like I'm pretty sure if Nikon were to come out with a global shutter camera, they would just use they would probably do the same thing where they went like Nikon D3 and then D3S. They'll probably make like an S version of like the Z9 or something. I can see them going like Nikon Z9 2 and then Nikon Z9 2S, if that makes sense. Because I don't know. Like Sony pretty much has the only global shutter camera, right? I don't think Canon came out with a global shutter camera. Wait, let me see. Global shutter. No, no global shutter. No global shutter yet. I think it's really interesting that Sony came out with the global shutter camera and everyone just like completely shit on it. Like at the end of the day, I think the issue with that is literally just a dynamic range issue because like I was shooting a lot of I shot an event the other day for one of our clients, and the lighting there was like awful, like really bad. Like when we were shooting outside, like we had so much banding in the photos that like quite literally a third of them, or not even a third, like half of them were straight up like unusable. And like that is like so annoying. I don't know how well like the a stack sensor would do in that situation, but I know for a fact if you had a global shutter, like that would not be an issue at all. And so I think the next logical progression is getting to that global shutter, but you have to be able to fix the dynamic range issue because like the Sony A, was it the A92? A92, I believe, A92 that had the global shutter. Like the dynamic range was so bad. Was so bad. And having the base dynamic range be like 250, not good, especially for like modern cameras. Let me see actually. Sony global shutter. Was it the A9 II? Oh, the A9 III, yeah, that has a global shutter. Dang, that camera came out almost 2 years ago at this point. Wow, that's insane. I mean, I remember that camera came out, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna revolutionize photography." It may be it may be a little bit ahead of its time, to be honest with you. Like, I'm pretty sure that stack sensors perform like are probably performing the best. Like when it comes to readout speed relative to image quality, I would argue that the stack sensor actually does better because the dynamic range issue isn't nearly as prevalent. Yeah, the dynamic range issue isn't nearly as prevalent, and it's really nice because like you can still shoot like landscapes and stuff. You can still shoot stuff where it's like fine art, where you need better dynamic range without necessarily sacrificing a ton on image quality. And like having a more balanced camera probably is better in my opinion than going for like a straight up um what's the word? Than going for like straight speed and like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can totally see that Nikon is kind of like waiting a bit until they release that global shutter camera because once they do, like once them and probably Canon get in on the global shutter game, like I think it's pretty much going to be a race, right? Going to be a race to see who can have the better dynamic range, who can have the better performance because we've seen, I'm pretty sure the A9 III can shoot like 120 at in full raw, which is like insane. Like I don't know who will ever need that. I remember when I was first getting into photography back in like 2016 that I was like, "Oh, the D500, D500, peak camera, peak camera." Like I remember reading like, "Oh, like 10 frames per second is more than enough for sports photography." And now with my Z6 III, let me see. Where is my Z6 III actually? Pull out the camera bag again. Like there's even times where I've shot like bursts with a Z6 III at like 120 in JPEG, of course, JPEG cropped, so it's not the same as like full raw, but like having a partially stacked sensor like makes such a big difference. And when you're shooting, like I would argue that like you probably don't need more than 30 frames per second, probably 30, 60 frames per second for like sports and action. But like, dude, 120 is like insane. It doesn't even feel real. Sometimes it's like it feels more like an inconvenience than it is a convenience because it's just so many photos. Like if you hold down your shutter for literally like 1 second, you literally shot like 120 photos. And that's like insane. That's like, like if you're shooting what a like sports game, oh, you're calling like thousands upon thousands of images for like one. And that's why I think sometimes like yes, you can have the cameras with the better image quality or no, sorry, with the better performance, but then like there's going to be what's the word? Unseen side effects that you're not really going to recognize until you actually like get into that space. Like for example, like I remember people were like, "Oh, you can have 45 megapixel cameras," but then you're also like quadrupling the size of the files. And if you're calling hundreds of images, like that's a lot of files. That's a lot of space. That's like going through your cards. You would have to have 256 gigabytes, 512 like minimum if you're gonna shoot with a um what's it called? Well, I lost my train of thought. If you're gonna be shooting with a high resolution camera, like you just have to. But yeah, shit is crazy. I'm kind of okay. So if we look at the Sony A9 III, what are Raw shooting speed. Yeah, so Sony A93 can shoot full resolution 14-bit RAW files continuously at up to 120 frames per second. Yeah, that's dumb. And it's blackout free shooting? Oh, broken. Oh my god. Okay, so it says shooting with full autofocus and exposure calculations. The buffer can sustain it for about 1.6 seconds. Dude, that's 1.6 seconds is like not even that long. Like you are like murdering your buffer. You are murdering your card space. Like I think even more than ever, if you're shooting 120 frames per second, you have to be more skilled at photography. You just do. You can't just spam the shutter and just like, oh, I'm just gonna get every like possible image. And I think something that's why, like, yes, like technology gets better and like camera gear gets better and tech improves. But at the end of the day, photography is still a skill issue. Like, it always surprises me when I talk to like new photographers and like they still don't really understand like the focal lengths and some of the settings. And when I talk about it, they're like, "Whoa, I didn't even know that you could like do that." And I like, there's times where I'm like, "Oh, this is just like common knowledge. Like everybody should know like I don't know, like what the exposure compensation does or your metering modes, right? Like everyone should know that, right? But like it's surprising like how much of the photography population like doesn't really understand it. And I think for a lot of photographers, at the end of the day, if you're really good at framing your composition, right? Like the only other thing that matters is knowing your camera settings. Like understanding skill in photography, yes, like you need to understand lighting. Yes, you need to obviously understand like what makes a good subject matter, like how to frame stuff, composition. But at the end of the day, photography is really just having an eye for your subject and knowing your camera settings. It literally is those two things and lighting, like obviously lighting. But that's something that you kind of learn as you go on. But like for majority of photographers, if you can learn your camera settings, that literally like genuinely solves like 90% of the issues that you're gonna have in photography. Because I feel like for me, like I've gone to the point where oh, and also like not completely like switching cameras every like year because like even for me, like there's some stuff in here where I'm still learning the camera itself. Like, yes, I transitioned over from the Z6 to the Z6 III. And quite frankly, a lot of these same what's the word? A lot of the same like settings and whatnot like translates over extremely well. However, like it still was a learning period, learning adjustment to actually using the Z6 III. And that's completely fine, right? Like at the end of the day, like the only thing that I really care about when it comes to the Z6 III or like using like cameras like this is to be able to understand it and really be able to utilize the different features on here. Like for me, like being able to have the flip out screen be more like vertical is so good. That's just so good. This is such a game changer. Like if you're shooting landscape photography, you don't have to necessarily worry about oh like what angle am I shooting at and I can't see the screen. Like no, like you're gonna get it. And that's why I think for me switching over to the Z6 III was like so good. It was so good. Such a game changer. And especially for me as someone shoots like a lot of video, like having this flip out screen is like everything to me. Like it was having a flip out screen, having IBIS, like having all of that in one camera was so good. It was so unbelievably good. But I'm excited for when I do eventually pick up the ZR because that camera is really good. I like that camera a lot. But can y'all do me a favor and drop a question in the chat? I just want to see how this looks because for me, I'm actually very new to live streaming. This is my first live stream ever. So yay. I want to do more live streaming for sure because I just I don't know. Like I want to do more improvised kind of content for you guys because sometimes I feel like the content that I make, it does take a while for me to actually like create it, cultivate it, and then deliver it for you guys. So if I can have a format where I'm just kind of hanging out with you guys, like at some point I want to make sure that I can like share my screen with y'all. Like that would be cool. I'll have to figure it out. I don't know how to do that yet, but I can figure it out. But I would love to like do some sort of like live streaming, like more often, especially. But yeah, I don't know how people do this. My throat is already killing me. It's only been 40 minutes. It's only been 40 minutes. But yeah. Um, but do you guys have any like photography New Year's resolutions? I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions because I feel, in my opinion, if you have a New Year's resolution, like why not just do it now? Like why are we waiting till the New Year's? Just do it now. But one of my I'm gonna put it in quotation marks because at this point it's already January 1st, so you don't really have to wait for your New Year's resolution. My resolution is that I actually want to shoot more. I want to go out to more hiking. So hiking in particular, because I actually am kind of a little bit traumatized by hiking. Um, it's that's like very, very like far back lore, far back photography product photography lore. If you guys are familiar, the reason why. But I got lost once and I almost died. So yeah, I'm kind of scarred by hiking a little. So I wanna like get back into it though. It's been years and I wanna just try and get back out there because there's a like especially around California, I've kind of gone to all of like the scenic areas, like pure scenic, like you go there and you just shoot. But for hiking, I feel like I really haven't explored that much. I feel like for me, that's the one area where I'm like, okay, I can kind of try it out a little bit more. So I want to do more hiking, go find some trails, just go. It doesn't even have to be the perfect lighting. Like I just want to go out and shoot. Literally just bring like a sling setup, like throw my Z63 and a 24 or 120 in there. Just call it a day. Like that. And then what is it called? Yeah, that's kind of the main thing. But yeah, I wanna go to more national parks. I wanna try camping. I haven't camped yet. I mean, like, I've, like, slept in my van, obviously, and, like, around, like, cities and whatever, but I haven't actually, like, camped in my van. That's something I definitely wanna try. Like, I think that would be so much fun, but, we'll see what happens, we'll see what happens. But anyways, guys, I appreciate everyone that came and went. Definitely wanna do more live streaming. I wanna figure out how I can set up, um sharing like my screen with you guys. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for experiencing the world with me today. I'll catch you guys in the next video or next live stream.